Hello and welcome back for Chapter 4, Lesson 6. Today we're going to be talking about triangle congruence, ASA, AAS, and HL. So far we've talked about triangle congruence throughout this chapter. The first time we did was in Chapter 4, Lesson 1. Remember, that's when you could prove that the triangles were congruent by showing that they're a reflection, a rotation, or a translation, or any like combination of those three. So that was the first way we talked about triangle congruence. The second time we talked about triangle congruence was in Chapter 4, Lesson 4, was the definition of congruent triangles. And remember, how many pieces of information did we need? We needed 6, right? We needed 3 sides and 3 angles. And if we showed that all 3 sets of or pairs of angles were congruent and all 3 pairs of sides, corresponding sides, were congruent, therefore we could show that the 2 triangles were congruent. And then last section we learned some of the cheat rules, right? Side, where you only needed to know 3 pieces of information. And then we learned about the sassy, the side angle side, where you only need to know 3, right? A side, angle, and side. And then this section, Chapter 4, Lesson 6, we're going to learn about 3 more cheat rules. So 3 here, and even though this has 2 letters, it still has 3 pieces of information as well. But before we get started with that, I wanted you to work on this warm-up here. So here's my friend the Pause Dragon. Remind you to pause your device. When you get done, press play, and we'll talk about these warm-up problems together. All right, see you in a bit. Okay, let's see how you did on the first one. What are the sides AC and BC called, and side AB? Okay. Ooh, what do you notice about this triangle? This is a right triangle because it has that 90 degree here. Whenever you have a right triangle, all of the sides have special names, but only with right triangles. Okay, it's kind of like a special, it's going to get a special little, I don't even know what you call that, but one of those things around it. Okay, so what you first have to understand is the 90 degree here, that little symbol, across from that is going to be the biggest side. And the biggest side, which is AB, that is called the hypotenuse. Okay, so AB is the hypotenuse. And once you're able to identify what the hypotenuse is, it's directly across from that 90 degree. The other 2 sides are called legs. So AC would be a leg and BC would be a leg. So that's it. Okay. This one says, which side is between angle A and angle C? And the side between those is called AC. And lastly, problem number 3, it says triangle DEF and GHI. Or given triangle DEF and triangle GHI, if angle D is congruent to G, okay, that first, and E is congruent to H, why is angle F congruent to angle I? So we know there's a triangle, we know that there's 3 angles, and so it's saying that first angle is congruent, and then this is saying that second angle is congruent. And it's asking about the third angle. Why would that third angle, if the first 2 sets of angles are congruent, why would that third angle be congruent? Does anybody know? Why would the third angle be congruent if the first 2 sets of angles are congruent to each other? It would be the third angles theorem. So if you got that one right, awesome, good job. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about definitions. The first one is an included side. I think before we talked about an included angle, right? That was an angle that is in between a side and a side, right? We talked about that included angle. It's the angle that's kind of like these sides are the, I don't know, giving that angle a hug or something. They're both adjacent, they're touching. That's the included angle. Now we're going to talk about what an included side is. What do you guys think? If we know this is an included angle, what do you think an included side would be? Well, what it says is the common side of 2 consecutive angles in a polygon, okay? So if I have this angle here, angle P and angle Q, what is the side that is included in both of those angles? And the side included in both of those angles would be this side here. This is the included side. It's included in both of those angles. It wouldn't be this one. This side isn't included. It's included in this angle, but not that one. And it wouldn't be this side. This side is included in that angle, but not that one. An included angle is included side, I'm sorry. Included side is a side that's included in this angle and also this angle over here, all right? So PQ is the included side between angle P and angle Q. All right, so we just need that little vocabulary term to learn about our next cheat rule, which is ASA, or angle side angle. And they're really gonna build upon this concept, okay? If you look at it, look at this. This is an angle, this is a side, and this is an angle, right? That's angle side angle. So it has to be that included side for angle side angle to work. So let's see what it says. ASA, if two angles and the included side of one triangle are congruent to two angles and an included side on another triangle, then the triangles are congruent. So let's look at these two pictures. So I have an arc mark of 1 and an arc mark of 1 there. So that's one angle. And then I have an arc mark of 2 here and an arc mark of 2 there. Oh, why didn't I highlight that? I thought I did. My bad. Okay. And what would be the included side for those two angles? The included side would be right here, and this side, sorry about that. I bumped it. This side is congruent to this included side here. So there you have it. Angle, side, angle, angle, side, angle. And that side has to be that included side, right? It can't be like over here or over here. It has to be the side that's included by those angles. Angle, side, angle, angle, side, angle. So if you have that, then you can say that triangle ABC is congruent to triangle DEF. And remember, the way that you write this is extremely important, because from this statement, how many pieces of information can you gather? 6. So from here, you have to line it up. So we know that A and D are the same, right? So that means A and D have to be written first. Okay, then what would they have next? They have B. Well, okay, so B is second, and that has to go with E, right? Because of the third angles theorem, because those two are the same and those two are the same, we know that B and E are the same because of the third angles theorem. So that they have that one second, so that means E corresponds with that. And then lastly, C is third, and F is the same as C. So it's really important. You can't just write down random letters here. You have to make sure that A and D are the same, A and D are the same, B and E are the same, B and E are in the second spot, and lastly, C and F are the same, and they're in that third spot. So you have to make sure that you write that statement correctly when you write it down. All right, that's it. There's some example problems for example 1, but we're not going to go over those right now. So this is what we're going to do. I will be back in a little bit with example 2.